going on? How's everyone doing?
Shout out to Colin. Everybody else who's cool with Colin.
Chunky! I didn't say.
Eat your popcorn and your Coca-Cola and relax.
Anyway, tell Colin I'm ready.
What's going on? This is Colin. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a great day so far. I've got a sovereign citizen. I do. This isn't well, it is a sovereign citizen. The way that she introduces herself, 100% a sovereign citizen. She doesn't say that much throughout this entire hearing. This is about an hour-long hearing. I've got one video to play tonight, and it's in front of Judge Tammi out of Georgia, Judge Tammi Hayward. And yeah, this is a very interesting case where by the end of it, you might be rooting for the sovcit. Just gonna say that right now. You might be rooting for the sovcit by the end of this. It doesn't make sense, a lot of things that are going on. And yeah, Judge Tammy's not having it. That's what you're in store for tonight. All right. Before I hit that play button, you know what to do. Hit the like and subscribe. Do your jump kick backflips. Let's go.
So if this screen goes out, they're still up there. Camera's right there. Okay.
Did you guys not hear my intro? Mayor, well, I mean, you heard me say it's about an hour long. Well, all my live streams are about an hour long. Did you guys not hear me? Hey, Sarah, good to see you. I guess I'm having audio issues. All right, do I need to start? Do I need to do my intro again? All right. Sovcit Encounters heard it. Good to hear you. Your intro music did not play. That's weird. That's weird. All right. Well, oh, just the music didn't play? Oh no. Let me know if you guys can hear the video. Cause if maybe there was an issue with the music played on the video. I hope not. Let's see. Hey, what's up, David? All right, let's go. Let me know if you guys can hear this video.
I'm here on special appearance under duress representing the surety, which is in trust.
All right. So all of that, Miss Daniels, I read your motion. There is no reason based on the motion that you filed under the law to dismiss the case against you. So the case will be set for a jury trial unless you want to speak to the state about a possible plea.
So I move to the court that the court hears the motion to suppress that was filed on September 4th, 2020.
Okay.
As a motion to dismiss.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so there's several different exhibits that
All right, real quick. That is the only sovcit line she's going to use this entire hearing, is in her intro, what she just said. I am here by special appearance, whatever, and I am the trustee. That's the only sovereign citizen line she's going to use. She's also not going to talk that much. Just an FYI, she doesn't say that much after the first couple minutes.
Let me get my paperwork together. There's several different exhibits that were filed along with this filing that was accepted on September 4th. There is an accusation that was fraudulently altered and backdated to the wrong date. There also is a First Amendment that's relevant for the right of the people to secure their persons, houses, papers, and efforts. Effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued, but upon probable cause. Our case.
Okay, so you're essentially saying that you're bringing, so we call it particularizing the motion. You're bringing a motion challenging the probable cause to arrest.
The grounds for suppression is the date of the accusation, that was dated August 31st was altered on September 11th to the date of the arrest, August 31st. The defendant was contacted via Facebook Messenger by arresting Officer Rowland's badge number 30508 and on September 10th to come to Clayton County Sheriff's Department to retrieve accusation EU 002 273555 DUI less safe. Officer Rowland's badge number 30508 threatened the issue of a warrant for the defendant's arrest if the defendant did not comply.
So you're alleging that the officer contacted you on Facebook Messenger and told you to come to court?
Not come to court. He told me
Come to the police office.
A separate ticket that was a citation that was not issued at the time of the alleged arrest.
Okay. Ms. Hagler, is this your case?
Your Honor, this is, I do not have any information of that. This is news to me.
Is the officer present?
Well, your Officer Vines, let me see if he's present, but the motion that I have in the packet was for to dismiss. So if she has filed another motion to suppress, I don't have that in my paperwork.
She filed a bunch of papers. I thought she filed all of that at the same time.
Not based off of what I have, Your Honor. I just have motion to dismiss.
Okay, I can't tell. Okay, to be fair, I don't know what was filed with the clerk. I only know what I received in court. I received the motion to dismiss, and in that, the same paperwork that I received in court for the, I guess, which was a courtesy copy, was the motion to suppress. So, but I'm not sure how this cuts when she's alleging that the officer contacted her on Facebook Messenger, told her to come to the police department to receive a citation for a DUI, but she was not arrested for the DUI at the time of the offense. Am I understanding your argument, Ms. McDaniel? I mean, Ms. Daniel.
Yeah, that's exactly what just happened. Can you imagine how I don't even understand how that works. You get arrested for your DUI, but you don't receive a citation for it. They realize they messed up and reach out to you on Facebook. Say, hey, come in. We have to give you a citation for a DUI. At this point, there's no evidence. All right, we're about to hear this entire story, and again, by the end of this, you might be rooting for the sovcit. You actually might be.
I was arrested, but I was never given the citation I was never tried for that. So
Your Honor, is it possible we can just have a brief moment to just kind of look into the file or investigate further?
Okay,
I understand what she's saying.
Okay, but yeah, so I'm trying to get clarity because I think what actually happened probably should have happened, but I don't know that it is being understood in the context of what she's arguing. So let me just understand. So on the August 31st, the alleged date of the incident, you were stopped by an officer. Is that correct?
Say that again, repeat that again.
On the alleged date of the incident, you were stopped by an officer?
It was called in. There was a call in, yes.
There was a call in. Okay. And on that date, you were arrested?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to have you admit anything substantive with respect to the case because you have a right to remain silent. I'm just trying to understand the procedure, okay? So I'm not going to ask you any questions that would directly implicate anything with respect to the alleged offense. I'm just trying to ask the procedural questions so that I understand what your motion is, okay? So you were arrested and taken to the Clayton County Jail, is that correct?
Yes.
And that was on August 31st?
Yes.
And at that time, you're stating that you were not served with a citation or any document about your arrest.
The only citation that was given to someone that was on the scene, that was called to the scene, was a failure to maintain lane. There was no other citation given on that particular date. It was given 2 weeks later.
So on August 31st, when you were taken to the jail, there was a failure to maintain lane, and that citation was left with somebody on the scene.
Yes,
Okay. And is you're alleging that at some date after that, you were contacted by an officer. And that officer directed you to come to I'm sorry, which jurisdiction was it? Was it Riverdale, Clayton County? Which police jurisdiction?
I'm not sure of the jurisdiction. It was the Clayton County Police Department.
Okay, so you are directed to come to the police department, and you
notice she understands jurisdiction when she has the feeling it's working in her favor right now. She totally stopped the sovcit thing. I'm not sure of the jurisdiction. Instead of you didn't prove jurisdiction. Just saying. The judge is actually working with her right now, so she's gonna stop that immediately.
at that time you were given a citation for DUI.
That was backdated as if the alleged.
Okay,
date.
so the on that date in September 8th, I think you said, or September 9th, you were given a citation relating back to August 31st, where the charge of DUI had been given to you.
It was
Were you
September 11th,
September 11th? Okay, so at that time, let me ask you this. When you were given the DUI citation, were you arrested again?
No,
Okay, and did they give you a court date?
no,
So on that citation, there was no court date listed? The first court date that you got was the one, and I believe this is a recusal case, so I'm going to ask you, the first court date you got was for arraignment before Judge Garrett. Is that correct?
that's correct.
Okay, so you were in Judge Garrett's courtroom, Judge Garrett recused, and so then the case came to me, and you were before me on a trial calendar, but you really had not been arraigned.
Correct.
Your case had not had a first appearance before that judge.
I had a first appearance, but I never had a pretrial.
Okay, and so your argument is that the DUI citation relating back to the date of August 31st, which wasn't given to you on the date that you.
That's an interesting question. I was going to ask that question in a little bit. And when I say a little bit, in about a half hour, because I've got a question similar to what you just asked, but it's not relevant yet. It's not relevant yet. She's just trying to get the information right now.
You were arrested is improper and should be suppressed.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So, Ms. Hayward?
Yes, Your Honor. Let me see if the officer is on, but yes, after going through the file some more, it does appear that both the citations for the same day. Okay. Oh,
I'm sorry?
one moment, Your Honor. 1 second, Your Honor. If I can have a few minutes. Thank you.
Oh, this happens multiple times. The prosecutor just dips for a minute or two. I left these in for moments to talk, and I forgot I did. So the information we have right now.
All right, so Ms. Daniel, while we're waiting on that, let me just ask the other attorneys about some of their cases while we're waiting. Mr. Lynch, Mr. Taylor, do you all have any cases where you all have are not going forward?
All right, I'm just gonna fast forward this. I know there's a long pause and I cut it out, but I didn't cut this out apparently. Sorry, guys.
Free to go at this time. Please contact your attorney, and they will explain what is happening. But they are not going forward with the motion to suppress. Withdrawn the motion to suppress. Yeah.
At the end of the calendar, if I could have a few minutes to comb through her issues further, specifically as it pertains to her claim that she was actually contacted by Officer Rollins via Facebook. I do want to comb through that. So if the court is inclined after the call of the calendar.
Well, the issue is, so the issue that's most important to me is that if she was arrested for a failure to maintain lane, but she wasn't arrested for a DUI, but that came later, then I have an issue with that.
Well, Your Honor, based on the citations in my packet, both of those offenses are dated the same date, August 31st.
No, I get that. What she's saying is the offense, it was dated the same date, but she wasn't arrested on anything but a failure to maintain lane. The DUI citation was given to her at a later date, but was dated as of August 31st. So, Ms. Wright, if you can look into the jail and see what she was arrested on, because it should say what on the date of August 31st, it should say what offense she was arrested on.
Yeah, I mean that does happen. You know, the officers will write citations, pass the information to the prosecutor's office, and the prosecutor will file formal charges. Yeah, yes, but what happened here is she was arrested for a DUI. She was pulled over for failure to maintain lane. They went through all the sobriety tests. That's going to come up later. So they have all the information, but they released her without doing any tests at the jail. They didn't give her a citation for DUI. Nothing happened with the DUI once she got to jail. They booked her and then they released her without processing the DUI. The police then realized later. The defendant said 2 weeks. I feel like it comes up later. It's only like 2 or 3 days. It's not like that matters. But 2 or 3 days later, the arresting officer, sends her a Facebook message because he didn't have her phone number and said, "Hey, we messed up. You need to come in so we can give you this citation." That's what happened here. But we're about to have a long hearing on it. You're going to hear all the facts, the evidence. All right, let's go.
Ms. Hagler, are we ready on Daniels?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Daniels, come on up. Is your officer ready?
Yes, I know he was at I'm not sure if he's still there, but he was currently working a 3-car accident. Let me confirm with Pete to see if he is.
Yes, both officers are on. Yes.
Okay, so they're good. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Ms. Daniels, the state has the burden of proving the case with respect to the motion to suppress, whether there was sufficient probable cause for the arrest. And you have challenged the probable cause. We're going to have the state present their evidence. You have the opportunity, if you wish, to question any witnesses brought by the state after they've given their testimony from the state. Do you understand that, ma'am? Okay, so just so you don't jeopardize your Fifth Amendment right against incrimination, you have a right not to testify or offer any information or testimony. It is the state's burden. So if you ask questions, don't make any statements or testify as to what you saw or believe happened. Ask questions of the officer as to what happened from their perspective, okay? All right. So, and if you wish to give testimony at a later date, there's some cautions that I need to give to you and get your agreement to that. Okay. All right. So, Ms. Hagler, call your first witness.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the state would like to call Officer Rollins.
All right.
Okay.
Raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
That's fine.
All right. You may put your hand down. Your witness, Ms. Hagler.
Thank you, Your Honor. State your name for the record. Please state your first and last name for the record.
Officer Rollins, can you hear?
Yes, I'm on the highway, but I can hear.
All right, so Ms.
Uh-oh.
Hager is asking you questions, and you're not responding.
My apologies. I'm dealing with a 3-car accident, and it's a lot going on out here. Could you re-advise again?
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Hager.
Yes, please state your first and last name for the record.
Officer Justin Rollins.
Please spell your first and last name for the record.
JUSTINROLLINS.
And how are you employed?
I'm with the Clayton County Police Department.
And for how long?
I've been with Clayton County since August of 2021.
Okay. And are you post-certified and credentialed?
Yes, ma'am.
And does that give you arrest powers?
It does.
Okay. And have you successfully completed all of your mandate training?
Yes.
Okay. And are all of your trainings and certifications up to date?
Yes.
And as a post-certified law enforcement officer, are you required to complete a certain number of hours of training a year to keep with that certification?
Yes.
And have you done this?
I have done the training for the years required, yes.
Okay.
I'm still in this year.
Okay, perfect. And have you been trained in the detection of persons under the influence?
I have.
And have you been trained in the detection of impaired persons?
Yes.
And what special training do you have in the field of detecting and apprehending impaired drivers and drivers under the influence?
So I am a SFST trained officer. I'm certified in standardized field sobriety testing. I'm also an AROD certified officer. That's in advanced roadside impaired driver enforcement. I'm also a drug recognition expert. That is the last certification that I would have when it comes to impaired driving.
Okay. And do you have any hands-on experience?
I do. I'm on the heat unit currently. All we do is DUIs.
Okay. Did you ever, in doing your training in impaired drivers and drivers under influence, were there ever any type of classroom trainings?
Yes.
Okay. And in those classroom trainings, did you use real people in those classroom components?
Yes, we did wet labs.
Okay. And did those individuals drink alcoholic beverages?
Yes, they were given controlled amounts of alcohol to get to a certain level.
Were you aware of how much they had to drink?
Sachina, he didn't mess up the actual investigation. He messed up the procedure afterwards. That's where all the issues come from. But yeah, we'll get in. We're about to hear all this. But I paused it at a good time because we've got a Big N raid. Big N, thank you so much for the raid, my friend. I appreciate it. Welcome to all the raiders. You guys are awesome. All right. Let's see how I can catch you up real quick. Now, we have a sovereign citizen defendant that, unfortunately, for everyone who's just joining now, I don't think she says one more word the rest of this hearing. She introduced herself as a sovereign citizen at the very start. This is a motion to suppress hearing, where she filed a motion to suppress the evidence on the basis of she got arrested for a DUI, but she never received a citation for it until a couple days later. The arresting officer sent her a Facebook message and said, "Come back to the police station. We need to give you this citation for your DUI." So I think she went back. Obviously she went back because they're in court now, so something happened. But so the sovereign citizen filed a motion to suppress the evidence for the DUI because she didn't receive the citation until after the arrest, and then they backdated the citation to the day of the arrest. That is what we're going through right now. We're pretty much in the beginning of it. This is the arresting officer or the DUI officer who conducted the field sobriety tests, and he just started. We're just going through his credentials right now. So you guys haven't really missed anything except for the sovereign citizen saying that she's there by special appearance and the court is her trustee. That is all you've missed so far. Once again, Bacon, thank you so much for the raid. let's keep going.
They didn't tell us.
Okay. And what were you instructed to do with those subjects or those individuals?
I'm sorry, I'm pulling off the highway.
Okay.
What was the question?
Mayor, I don't remember. A couple of people have already asked that, and I keep ignoring it, but it keeps coming up. So I don't remember. Hopefully they say it during this hearing, but I can't remember if she was tested breathalyzer or by blood. I don't remember.
What were you instructed to do with those subjects and those individuals?
So each person we had to put through the full standardized field sobriety testing, and then we had to make a decision.
He's I keep pausing. He said at the very beginning when he started, he is on the scene of a 3-car accident. So he wasn't actively driving. He was blocking traffic for the accident investigation, and the cars just were moved off the highway. So he just went from probably the right lane to the shoulder is what just happened. So, I'll forgive him for that. He is working.
On whether or not they were impaired.
Okay, I think the connection went out. Can you just please repeat the last part? I think your connection went a little low.
So we would put them through full standardized field sobriety testing. At that point, we would gather up all of our clues and everything that we observed, and we would make a decision on whether or not we would make an arrest.
Okay. And were there training standards that you had to meet to successfully complete that course?
Yes.
And what were those training standards?
Okay, so number one, they would always put people in who were not impaired at all. That would basically rule out someone making an arrest or a bad decision based off of something that they thought that they saw. There are a ton of other standards I can go through as far as what they did to safe proof this method, but standardized field sobriety testing is just one of those things. It's a proven method. It's used all around the world and around the country, so it's a proven method.
Okay, and regarding those training standards, you can meet those standards and passing those courses?
Yes, I passed all of those classes, all the way up to DRE.
Okay, and approximately how many DUI arrests have you made?
So I'd made 35 at the minimum in 2023, I believe. I don't have my mad pen. I do have statistics somewhere, but you could say at the minimum I've made over.
Yeah, and that makes sense for testing officers on, if someone's actually drunk or not. They actually had what they called them wet labs, where they would bring in, a couple people. Some of them were drinking, some of them weren't, and they would go and test everybody. And they would have to say who was drunk and who wasn't. I think that's awesome. I would love to be a part of that class. I would love to just watch it. I really would. I think that's really interesting how they do that. Sorry, I just nerded out a little bit because I don't know why that excited me, but it did.
60 DUI arrests.
Over 60.
It's probably higher. I'm just giving you a modest number.
Okay, and you said that was in 2023?
2023, 2024 was the year that I did, or 2023 was the year that I got a mad pen for 35 DUI arrests.
Okay.
It was slightly higher than that. And then we still have all of 2024, all of 2022, so.
Okay. And Officer Rollins, do you arrest everyone whom you initially suspect of being impaired or under the influence?
If I have enough probable cause, I absolutely make an arrest for every person that I believe is impaired.
Okay. And in making your decisions, do you look at the totality of the circumstances before making any arrests?
Absolutely.
Okay. And can you describe what type of driving patterns do you normally look for that will lead to an arrest?
So typically I look for either a failure to maintain lane. I look for someone driving without any lights. A single vehicle accident is a big one for us. Typically, if you make contact with something that is stationary on the roadway, that could lead to impairment or be indicative of impairment. Speeding is another one. Impaired perception of time and distance gives us a clue as to whether or not you even know how fast you're going, traveling on the roadway. And
Yeah, but he said it's the MAD DUI pen. So it's the Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. So it's if it's a pin that he received from a group outside of the police force, I don't have a problem with that. It's not inciting. If he got a bonus for it, then yeah. But if it's a pin that MAD gave him for 35 DUI, so he removed 35 drunk drivers from the road that year. So MAD congratulated him on that. I don't see a problem with that.
yeah, people driving on just a rim. There's a lot of things I look for.
Okay. And in making those arrests, did you use your training to affect those previous arrests every time?
Yes, every time.
Okay. Okay. At this time, I would like to draw your attention to August 31st of 2023. Were you employed by the Clayton County Police Department on that date?
Yes.
Were you post-certified on that date?
Yes.
Did you have arrest powers on that date?
I did.
Did you have the authority to issue citations on that date?
I did, yes.
And were you on official duty and working in your official capacity on that date as well?
Yes.
Okay. And were you in uniform and in a marked patrol vehicle?
That's correct, I was.
And do you recall what your duties were, generally speaking, on that day?
I was at that point in time, I was a traffic unit attached to uniform patrol. So pretty much I did most of the accidents and traffic enforcement.
Okay. And at that time, on that day, did you respond to the area of Mount Zion Parkway and Mount Zion Boulevard, Morrow, Georgia?
That's correct.
Okay. And what county is that location located in?
That's going to be in Clayton County.
Okay. Let the record reflect that venue has been established, Your Honor.
Record shall reflect that.
Thank you. And what was the name?
I don't know. I think it's excessive, but she is stretching here because they messed up. So I feel like that she is absolutely trying to cover every single base she can to prove that this lady, the defendant, the sovereign citizen, actually rightfully deserves a citation for a DUI. And yeah, I think we're actually finally getting to the case though. That did take a while. While I'm paused, JoJo, 5 months. Thank you so much. Yay, 5 months. Thank you for the consistent awesomeness. Thank you for being consistently awesome. I appreciate it, JoJo. Thank you.
Nature of that call.
I believe we got a call about a single vehicle accident. That vehicle had made contact with possibly a curb, but the person was in the vehicle on the corner. So initially, I don't know if it was initially, I need to refresh my memory on the report, but it may have just been that the vehicle was sitting there on the side of the, what is it that considered? The sidewalk, close to the McDonald's.
Okay. Would your report refresh your memory?
Absolutely. I kind of.
Okay. You just take some time to refresh your memory, and then once you're done, just let me know.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Okay. Thank you.
Speak to the radio.
Go ahead.
You can show all lane 75 South back open.
Radio sir.
All right, 75 South is now open. Let's fast forward a little bit. I think this takes a minute. Yeah.
Being refreshed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was the nature of the call?
So it was a single vehicle accident that Officer Robinson was dispatched to, and I had assisted since it was a single vehicle accident.
Okay. Upon your arrival, what did you observe?
So I observed, I believe Miss Daniels is in the room, but I observed I observed the young lady in courtroom 304. She was out of it. I can break that down a little bit more, but she just seemed a little dazed, kind of confused as to what was going on. We initially started looking at the damage on the vehicle, trying to figure out if it was an accident or what she might have hit. I know a bystander who was there, was recorded on body cam. She said that she possibly hit a pole, but we didn't see damage indicative of a pole, maybe like a curb or something like that. So we were trying to investigate the accident portion, and that's when I noticed like kind of her just demeanor. She was just kind of quiet, not really steady on her feet. And that's when I started my DUI investigation.
Okay, just a few follow-ups. So you said that you that you would notice damage to the vehicle. What type of damage did you notice or observed?
You said damage?
Yes. What type
So
of?
the undercarriage, it seemed like on the vehicle, I think it was the left headlight and the undercarriage on the vehicle had some damage. We weren't 100% sure if that was existing damage, because sometimes if you come up on a curb, kind of how she did, it'll take the undercarriage from under the vehicle.
Okay. Did you observe any other damage to the vehicle?
Can I go back and recollect?
Yes. Would your report refresh your memory?
It would. I didn't do the accident report. I specifically did the DUI portion of the investigation.
Okay, not a problem. We'll move on. And so you made contact with the person that you made contact with. Do you see them on Zoom?
I do.
Can you please describe what she's wearing and her hair?
It looks like she has 2 ponytails and a red jacket and a black shirt.
Okay. Let the record reflect that Officer Rollins had identified.
Oh, the prosecutor was setting them up right there. He wanted to say, tell her, say that she has Minnie Mouse ears on. What does her hair look like, officer? Oh, okay, let's keep going. You know what, actually, while I'm paused, JP Jazz, thank you so much for the 2 months. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. You were awesome. All right.
The defendant for the motion, Your Honor.
Record shall reflect that.
Thank you. So you did make contact with the defendant on that day, correct?
I did.
Did you have face-to-face contact with the defendant?
I did.
Okay. And I believe you said that she was dazed.
Yes. When I first made contact with her, she just seemed almost confused, not really understanding what was going on, how the accident happened, things of that nature. And then, like I said, she was unsteady on her feet.
Okay. Did you notice, did you speak with her on that day?
I did.
Did you notice any odors?
So yes, outside of the vehicle, I noticed the odor of alcoholic beverage. I don't know if I made contact with her when she was in the vehicle, but my odor of alcoholic beverage was outside the vehicle in the elements.
Okay. Were you able to determine where the odors were coming from?
I was talking to her face to face, so it was coming right at me forward.
Okay. So from her breath?
Yes.
Doing your investigation, did you ask the defendant whether or not she had been drinking that night?
Can I refer back to this report again?
Yes, if your report refresh your memory, yes, and then when you're done, just let me know when your memory has been refreshed.
Yeah, I don't really understand why they didn't, ask for an adjournment to get ready for this. Officer was on the scene of a traffic accident, which is understandable. They, it's a motion hearing and brought up by the sovereign citizen, and the judge granted it. So they're all of a sudden having this motion. And it did kind of seem out of nowhere because judge was like, okay, let's go. Let's hear it.
Okay,
Let's go through this hearing.
read through the report.
But I don't know why, the officer's not ready. It's going to come up in a little bit that the prosecutor's not ready either. She's kind of confused towards the end. Yeah, ask for an adjournment. Just get yourself collected. This is a DUI. It's serious. And they messed up. They did. They messed up. Lisette, thank you so much for the 13 months. 13 months. That is amazing, Lisette. Thank you so much. You are awesome.
I think it
Okay.
may be.
Has your memory been refreshed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you ask the defendant whether or not she had been drinking that night?
Does not look like in my report I mentioned anything about asking her if she had any alcoholic beverages.
Okay. Do you recall if she admitted to drinking anything that night?
To be honest, at this point, I'm unaware. I
Okay.
apologize.
Okay. And during your investigation, you mentioned that you decided to conduct a DUI investigation. Why did you feel the need to do that?
I've been in contact with a lot of people who are intoxicated. I've investigated a lot of DUIs. I cannot say that I know everybody's demeanor as they are in every state all the time. However, I am able to look at people when they are under the influence and gain at least a few clues that'll give me, articulable, reasonable suspicion to think that they may be under the influence. In her case, her wobbling back and forth, kind of swaying forwards and backwards, that, again, the odor of alcoholic beverage, the slurred speech, she was very lethargic. It was just all ARS. It was leading me to believe that she was under the influence. So that's why I continue with the DUI investigation.
Okay, and in continuing with that DUI investigation, what did you do?
We always try to get someone to a flat surface. That's the first thing. Some of the tests that we do require the surface to be flat so that the test is standardized, again, for everybody. So I did ask her if she wanted to do some voluntary standardized field sobriety testing, and that we will relocate to another location. Once I got that confirmed, we then relocated to a different location, which was, I believe, the McDonald's parking lot.
Okay. And when you asked her if she wanted to do standardized field sobriety test, what was her response?
I believe she said yes. I wouldn't have went forward if she didn't.
Okay. And okay. And is that because it's protocol to not go forward if a person declines?
Everyone has the right to decline. We need to get a very short answer of someone, even if they are under the influence. Otherwise, it would seem forceful to make them do a test that they have every right to refuse.
Okay. And what test did you do first?
The first test I did was the horizontal gaze nystagmus test.
Okay. Did you provide any instructions regarding it?
I'm sorry, low volume.
Yes. Did you provide the
This is about 5 hours old. It was late afternoon today that it happened.
any instructions regarding that test?
I did. So for that test, I tell every defendant the same thing. I just want them to put their legs together, heel to heel, toe to toe. I want them to place their hands down by their sides, and I want them to remain in that position and don't move unless told to do otherwise. So those are the exact instructions I would have gave her.
Did the defendant appear to understand those instructions?
I believe so. I just know she was kind of still swaying. She still had that, unsteady on her feet sway the entire time.
If she did not appear to understand those instructions, would you have proceeded?
I'm sorry?
If she appeared to not have understood those instructions, would you have proceeded with that test?
No.
Okay.
So I think that the prosecution is trying to prove that the defendant deserves the DUI. They're not arguing the fact that the ticket was given a couple days after she was arrested. They're glossing right over that part, and they're just going right into the probable cause. So this is essentially a probable cause hearing, because the defendant, the sovereign citizen, is arguing probable cause, but she also filed a motion for what's the word? I said it earlier. When you get rid of evidence, I can't think of the right word. But so there's two things going on. This is actually still a probable cause hearing though, because like I said, she challenged probable cause and suppression. There we go. That's the word. So she's fighting probable cause. She filed a motion to suppress evidence. That's what's going on here.
So after you provide the instructions, what'd you do next?
So after I provided the instructions, I started with the HGN test. She did have equal tracking. Her pupils were the same size, which is good. So those medical qualifiers were spot on. But she did have an involuntary jerking of her eyes in the opposite direction of the stimulus. That was through all 3 tests. So I saw 1 clue for each test on each eye with a total of 6 clues.
Okay. And conducting the HGM or the horizontal gaze and segments, how many passes did you do?
So I did 2 passes for my equal tracking. I did 2 passes or lack of smooth pursuit, 2 passes equal tracking, 2 passes for distinct and sustained nystagmus at maximum deviation, and then 2 passes for onset of nystagmus prior to 45 degrees.
Okay. And based on with regarding to the HGN that you conducted, what did 6 out of 6 clues indicate to you?
So 6 out of 6 clues, I'm not really allowed to give a number, but that
Oh, yep, that's fun. You guys enjoy that? I enjoyed it. Man, I that not only just came out of nowhere. I mean, obviously it was at 8:46 when it always happens, but it was, hold on. It didn't even give me the little spinny wheel of death like it always does. It All right, now I'm mad. I'm mad now. Yeah, this is worse tonight than it usually is. You know, it didn't happen last night. I thought we got past it, but nope. Just took a break. And I got kicked out so quickly. I don't even know where I'm at in this video, guys. So I'm gonna try to find it. But you know what I'm gonna do? For those that hung out, I've got a special video to play. All right. I'm about to call tonight. I'm if that happens again, I think I'm just gonna call tonight. I'm beyond frustrated. I want to play you guys something. This is just a little break from the hearing that we've been watching. You know, a thank you for hanging out. This is only a 2-minute clip. I don't know where else to put it, but this is probably the most angry I've ever seen Judge Clark. So let's watch this together as my way of saying thank you for still being here, and then we'll get back to the regular scheduled program. Here we go.
You're waiving your right to appeal anything but an illegal sentence.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing this for your own free will?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cantrell, do you feel this admission is in your best interest?
I do.
You agree you violated the terms and conditions of your probation by having technical violations of your probation?
Yes, sir.
I'll find there's a basis for the admission. I'm gonna find. What did you just do? Hey, come here.
Sir, come back in here. Come back in here.
You come up, sit and have a seat. You come up here. Now have him sit right. Have a seat, Mr. Cantrell. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up.
Yes, sir.
What is your name?
Mark Elkin.
What are you doing in this courtroom?
I was here seeing somebody going to court.
You just, when you left the room, you shot a bird and then said the F word when you walked out.
Not
yes, you did.
So not a you.
I don't care who it was at.
Okay.
Now, that is a direct criminal contempt of court. Punishment up to 6 months in the county jail. Do you have any thing to say?
I apologize
before I
to the
go
court.
forward with this?
I apologize to the court, sir.
Do you understand how serious this is?
Yeah, it's emotional right now,
I
too.
can complete this hearing right now, have you put in jail, and you won't see the light for 6 months. Now, this very seldom happens in my courtroom. This is serious. I don't care who you were shooting the bird at. If it was me, I just assumed it'd be at me and somebody else.
When the guy was leaving, he turned around and flipped off the court and said "F you," and yeah, Judge Clark heard it and saw it. So this is the aftermath.
My feelings are hard to hurt. That's not the first time the bird's been shot at me.
I apologize for disrupting your court, sir. That's all I can say.
What I
Emotional
suggest
right
you
now.
do is get out of this courtroom, get out of this courthouse.
Mm.
Go. Mr. Cantrell, come on up and let's finish this.
That was it. Like I said, a little thank you guys for sticking around. That I don't know what to do with that. It's 2 minutes long, so it's too long to be a short, but that is awesome. All right. Now I gotta find where we were. I have absolutely no idea. So I'm gonna play it from here. You guys let me know if I should rewind, stay here, or fast forward. All right. You guys ready? Let's go.
Okay, so
Okay,
always
didn't he
looking
just
for an
testify to that?
Well, I wasn't sure if I heard it. That's why I said for clarity purposes, but that's
Okay.
fine. I could just move on. I wasn't, that's fine. I can move on, Your Honor. So 6 out of 6, and that captures lack of smooth pursuit, distinct and sustained assignment and variation, and then the same as prior to onset of 45 degrees, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Okay, and when you conducted the HGN, did you conduct that test in accordance with the National Highway Safety Standards Association?
That's correct.
Okay. At any point, did you deviate from what was required?
Nope.
Okay.
All my passes, I count them out in my head. All my passes are going to be exactly what they're supposed to be, or the minimum of what they're supposed to be.
Okay. And in scoring the evaluation, was it scored in accordance with the NHTSA standards?
Yes.
Okay. And did you perform any other evaluations aside from the HGN on that day?
I did. We moved on to the walk and turn, and then I believe we did the one leg stand test as well.
Okay. Regarding the walk and turn, did you explain to the defendant how that test was supposed to be done or conducted?
I did. I explained to her verbally, and I also gave her a physical demonstration.
Okay. Did she appear to understand your physical demonstration?
She did. She just wasn't staying in the instructional position during me explaining.
Okay. So is it fair to say that she did not follow your instructions?
Well, one of the instructions is stay in that position or remain in that position, don't move unless told to do otherwise. And she came out of that instructional position, which would be indicative of not following my directions.
Okay. With regards to the walk and turn, what clues are you looking for specifically with this evaluation?
So for that evaluation, we're looking for using their arms to balance. We're looking for steps offline, misses heel to toe, doesn't count out loud, stops the test. We're also looking for, I mentioned uses arms for balance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I'm just going in a circle here. My apologies.
Okay, no worries. Any other clues that you look for in conducting this evaluation?
One more time.
Are there any other clues that you look for in conducting this evaluation?
Let's see. I'm trying to run off my 8 really quick. Give me a second.
Okay.
So we have steps offline, uses arms for balance, doesn't count out loud, stops the test before you start, improper turn, incorrect number of steps. I believe that's it.
Okay. And how does this test correlate to driving?
So it's a divided attention test. So it's going to make you use both parts of your brain. One portion is going to obviously be the physical portion, and the other portion is going to be a mental portion where you're counting. And then there's some things that you're going to be doing throughout the test where you're going to be switching back and forth using, both parts of your brain. So it's a divided attention test.
Okay. And then prior to conducting this test, were you able to medically qualify the defendant to make sure that she could do this test?
I did. I always ask, is there anything physically wrong with you that'll stop you from doing these tests? obviously the equal pupil size, the equal tracking, things of that nature. Those are all my medical qualifiers, in addition to glasses or contacts and whether or not I have them remove them. Head injuries.
Okay, the defendant indicated if there was anything that would prevent her or keep her from performing the walk and turn.
That's correct. If it was, we wouldn't have done the test.
Okay. And when she performed the test, what clues did you observe when she performed the walk and turn?
So for the walk and turn, I know that she wasn't able to stay in the instructional position. I know she did not complete her heel-to-toe steps, or at least some of the heel-to-toe steps. My apologies. I know she made an improper turn, and I can, if I'm allowed to refer back to the report, I can tell you exactly what she did.
Yes, if your report will refresh your memory, go ahead and refresh your memory, and then once you're done, just let me know.
No, Judge Tammi has not ruled on that motion yet. The prosecutor's just kind of completely ignoring it, just going through the probable cause hearing. We're almost towards the end, so that's gonna come back up. Don't worry. It's about to get a little spicy.
Okay.
Oh, and of course I paused it right before he took a moment.
Okay.
Okay. Were there any additional clues that you observed that you haven't already mentioned?
Just the fact that she missed heel-to-toe steps for that last 9. She made an improper turn, and then she just took regular standard steps that a normal person would take, not complying with the rules of the test, which is they need to be heel-to-toe steps. So just normal walking for the last 9 steps back.
Okay. And how many clues did you observe on the walk and turn?
So
that
steps
she displayed?
offline. So it's going to be steps offline. It's going to be misses heel-to-toe, improper turn. Those are 3 that I can guarantee I know I saw.
3 out of how many?
3 out of 8.
Okay. And what does 3 out of 8 clues indicate to you?
3 out of 8 clues to me indicates that I need to keep going and, continue the standardized field sobriety testing.
Okay. Did you perform this evaluation in accordance to the NHTSA standards?
That's correct.
Did you deviate from the test at all?
No.
Okay. And was this test scored in accordance with the NHTSA standards?
Yes.
Okay. And then you mentioned that you did the one-leg stand. Did you explain the one-leg stand to the defendant?
Yes, I did.
Did you provide her the instructions for it?
I did.
Okay. After explaining and providing her the instructions, did she appear to understand those instructions?
She advised that she did understand, yes.
Did you provide a demonstration to her?
I did.
Did she appear to understand your demonstration?
Yes.
Okay. And for the one-leg stand, what clues do you look for when conducting this evaluation?
So for the one-leg stand, is always going to be puts a foot down, uses arms for balance. And the last 2 clues for that test is going to be, give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, now it seems that he's got to refresh his memory on the test.
So for the one-leg stand, our clues are going to be sways while balancing, uses arms for balance, hopping, and puts foot down.
Okay. And how many clues did the defendant display on that day?
Okay, so for that test, she used her arms for balance. I know she started the test too soon. I know she put her foot down. So that would be use his arms for balance.
No, DUI is not his only job. He's a specialist in DUIs, though. At the very beginning of the video, he was helping with a 3-car collision, a 3-car traffic accident, and yeah, that had nothing to do with DUI. So no, it's just, you know, if he's working and he's close by and available, they'll call him to do the DUI investigation. He's better at it, so he's specifically trained. So this kind of thing doesn't happen where someone has a DUI and it doesn't get convicted. All right, I've got a couple super chats I want to go through, but I want to kind of let this play. There's going to be a very clear pause moment here in a couple minutes, and I will catch up on all the super chats, guys.
Balance, puts foot down. Let's just say 2 out of 4 because there was no hopping, and I don't think I specified in the report swaying.
Okay, so 2 out of 4 clues.
2 out of 4.
Okay, and what did 2 out of 4 clues indicate to you on the one leg stand?
That indicated that she's impaired based off of the investigation that I did.
Okay, and how does the one leg stand correlate to driving?
The one leg stand is another divided attention test where you're going to be using 2 parts of your brain, and it would correlate just like you're making decisions whether or not you're going to, you know, go left or go right, or whether or not you're braking when something pops up in front of you. So just a divided attention test.
Okay, and so after you conducted the one leg stand, what did you do next?
After the one leg stand test, I believe she was placed into custody.
And why was she placed into custody?
Just based off the totality of circumstances, 6 out of 6 clues on HGN, all of the clues that I saw on the walk and turn, starting too soon, the odor of alcoholic beverage, single vehicle accident, everything that I gathered during that investigation was enough probable cause to place her in custody for DUI, less safe.
Okay, were there citations provided as well?
Yes, there was 2 citations. I believe one was failure to maintain lane, and the other one would have been DUI, alcohol, less safe.
Okay. And why was she arrested for DUI, less safe?
She was arrested for DUI, less safe, because at that point in time, we didn't know if it was a per se or not. So it's always going to be less safe until we're able to obtain implied consent blood draw and confirm whether or not they are in fact impaired above a 0.08.
Okay. And so Officer Rollins, is it fair to say that you used the totality of circumstances prior to making that arrest?
I'm sorry?
Is it fair to say that you used the totality of the circumstances prior to making that arrest?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe that you have probable cause to arrest the defendant?
Absolutely.
Okay. 1 second, Your Honor.
Yeah, you're in the middle of a hearing. She says 1 second, and she's talking to somebody else. Like, it just, I don't know. I don't think I've had a problem with this prosecutor in the past, but I am not happy with her at all. Even the sovereign citizen's like, this is what happens. This is what court's for. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't see her enough to really have an opinion either way.
You
But
ready, Ms.
generally, she's
Hayward?
fine.
Yes, Your Honor, just 1 second. And Officer Rollins, you mentioned implied consent. Was implied consent?
I'm in court. I'm on Zoom in court. I can't talk. I'm sorry.
Yes, you mentioned implied consent. Was implied consent read to the defendant on that day?
Yes, I read her implied consent. She agreed, and we did a blood draw.
Okay. Your Honor, no further questions for Officer Rollins.
I have questions. So, Officer,
All right, so this is where my big question comes in. Judge doesn't even ask if the sovereign citizen has any questions for the officer. She just immediately goes into I have questions. The way that I understand it works, the defendant should have been able to ask questions before Judge Tammi interjected here. That's I don't know that for a fact. I know the judge is allowed to ask questions, but this is Derval U.S. and she's practicing law from the bench. I mean, I know that's a sovereign citizen term, but I do feel that she goes kind of above and beyond to kind of grill the prosecutor and the officer at this point. Okay, let's go.
Rollins, you said that for HDN you did a medical qualification. What did that consist of?
So typically what I do is I ask them if they're wearing glasses or contacts.
No, not typically. What did you do on that day?
On that day,
Mhm.
I would need to look at my body cam to give you exactly what I did on that day.
Okay. Do we have the body cam?
Yes, Your Honor, one moment, please.
So while we're pulling that up, so you said that she was arrested and placed into custody based on DUI, let's say. What other thing was she arrested for?
So the other charge would be the failure to maintain lane.
Okay, and did you do both of those citations?
I believe Officer Robinson may have done one and I did the other. Can I look at Brazos to check?
I mean, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. So do you believe you did the DUI citation or Officer Robinson?
It would have been my DUI citation.
Okay, and she was arrested on both of those offenses at that time?
I believe so, yes.
All right. So part of what Ms. Daniels' motion entails is that she said that she was contacted, that when she was taken to jail on August 31st, she was arrested on failure to maintain lane, and that she was contacted later by you to come and receive a DUI citation. Is that correct?
It is possible, especially if I made a mistake. Supervision will send us back out to correct the mistake. So that is possible.
So you contacted her by messenger to get her to come in to receive the DUI citation?
That's it. Yes, it does sound right. I'm not able to look back that far, but yes, that does sound right.
So when you arrested her at the time, are you saying that you didn't issue her a DUI citation?
It would have been on a warrantless arrest affidavit, but she may not have gotten a citation that night. And I don't know exactly why. I'm not sure if the system was down or what happened. I'm not sure if she was arrested just off of one, the failure to maintain lane, but I do know in the warrantless arrest affidavit in the AB, it would have had DUI less safe.
Okay, so is it normal to contact the defendant after they've been arrested to tell them to come get another citation?
Our supervision will tell us get in touch with that person however you can and make contact with them to issue this citation. Yes, we've been told that by our sergeants as long as I've been here. Call a person, go to their house.
You did a DUI investigation, but the citation that you gave her at the time was a failure to maintain or improper lane change or a failure to maintain lane.
Mm-hmm.
So the DUI citation wasn't actually given to her until later.
And that may have been a mistake on my part. Absolutely.
Well, Your Honor, if I may, we do have paperwork to show that both citations were created on that day. We have arrest booking and we also have the proper cause.
Oh, ma'am, Ms. Hagler, because I have them. Share screen, Miss Powell. You have citations that indicate.
Oh, prosecutor, you gotta watch what you're saying. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I see something completely different because the defendant is correct. You backdated the citation to make it look like you gave the citation on that day, but no, you did not. Judge comes with receipts, and these are the screenshots that the sovereign citizen did file with her motion. So that's how judge has these.
that both of them were dated for August 31st.
Okay, correction. She actually shows some official paperwork and then shows the screenshots. I should say that.
But both of them weren't necessarily done on that date.
Well, Your Honor, the arrest booking does have, and I can pull that up, I guess, once she's done sharing. The arrest booking does have both citations on that day.
Okay.
Well,
all right. So this is the citation that was typed up, it looks like. And so on that citation, it says the date was.
Yeah, that was my question, Zen. Is she going too far on this? I don't know. That's going to be an issue for an appeal because we get a ruling, and we'll talk more about that at the end. Though I don't want to spoil anything. I think you guys know how it's going from how I've been talking, though.
August 31st, 2023.
This is the incident date.
Okay, and this one was typed. What's the date of, what's the other citation, Ms. Powell? Okay, so this was also August 21st.
All right, Legal Fiction says there's personal information on the screen. I didn't look over that document. That is my fault. So now we're going to hide that document. I did show it for a second. I apologize. Nobody contact her, please. Don't do it. Don't do it if there's personal information on there.
I'm sorry, August 31st of 2023. And this one was handwritten.
So
Okay.
Robinson wrote probably that one.
Okay, so now Ms. Daniels alleges that she was contacted at a later date. Ms. Powell, could you share that for me, please? So, Mr. Officer Rollins, is this your attempt to contact Ms. Daniels to get her to come back in to get the citation for the DUI?
Yes.
Okay, so do you know what date this was?
It looks like September 10th at 3:49.
Okay, and the citation that you were going to give her on that date was.
All right, I'm dropping that so you guys can read it. I still can't because my screen in StreamYard is really small, so I can't read that. But yeah, you can clearly see the officer sent her a message on Facebook Messenger. Come in. I need to give you the citation. If I received, even if I was recently arrested, if I received a message like this on Facebook, I would think it's a scam and I would ignore it. I'm just saying. The police reach out to you on Facebook? No, that's not okay in my book.
For the DUI?
That I'm not sure. That's why I said if I can go on Brazos, I'll see exact times and I can tell you when that citation was issued and also what the reasoning behind it was. I don't know why I wouldn't have given her the citation the same day.
Okay, but you do believe that you did call her back in to give her a citation that would have originated on the August 30th.
There absolutely is. You can go to Judge Tammi Hayward's courtroom and you can watch the entire 2 hours. I cut this down to about 1 hour and 20 minutes. You can watch the whole thing if you want with all the pauses. There's a lot of breaks in between this case that I cut out, but absolutely, if you want to go watch it without my commentary. I do try to put the U in YouTube, as Skeptic likes to say. So if I am bothering you with my interruptions, I do suggest that you go to court and actually watch it for yourself.
First arrest.
I believe so.
All right. Anything else, Miss? You can take that down, Miss Powell. Anything else, Miss Hagler? Okay, you're muted.
Your Honor. 1 second, I got a few minutes. Please, thank you.
Oh, right here. It's not a few minutes. She's gone for about 15 or 20 minutes while the court's waiting for her. I cut a bunch of this off.
Miss Hagler?
Yeah. Yeah, that time, that was about 20 minutes right there. And everyone's just waiting for the prosecutor. I had no idea what she's doing.
Prepared for this?
Yeah,
I'm ready
yes,
to move forward.
yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm about to share my
So,
screen.
Ms. Hagler, based on the testimony of the officer, and the fact that he, as per the allegations in the motion to suppress, she was arrested on a failure to maintain lane, was not arrested on the DUI. She did not receive a DUI citation until September 9th or 10th, several days after she was arrested for failure to maintain lane and the fields were allegedly conducted. So this time the court is going to grant the defendant's motion to suppress.
Well, Your Honor, we also have a copy of the affidavit I'm trying to pull up for the court.
I'm going to grant the motion to suppress, and it will suppress all of the field sobriety exercises and any tests that were done subsequent to the field sobriety exercises. All right, next hearing.
Your Honor,
Thank you, Ms. Daniels, your motion has been granted. If y'all disagree with me, file something.
Your Honor, if we can just perfect the record, I
Go
believe
ahead.
the state has an opportunity to make argument and to be able to close on argument. The state has video evidence of the actual arrest when Officer Rollins placed the defendant under arrest. We also have the warrantless affidavit, which was filed by the officer, and the arrest booking report where he arrested her for a DUI. He informed the defendant that she was being arrested for a DUI less safe and failure to maintain lane. And in addition, Your Honor, if the court looks at the citation, one was written by Robinson, handwritten, and then one was given.
The prosecutor's boss. The boss just walked in. That's who this is.
By Rollins, which was actually typed. It's the state's argument that, in fact, the defendant was made aware what she was arrested for. She received bond conditions for a DUI less safe and failure to maintain lane, and she was giving a citation from the officers for, on this particular incident. Based on what we reviewed on the video, Officer Rollins did inform the defendant that she would be under arrest for a DUI less safe. And also, I believe that Officer, if I'm not mistaken, Robinson had already issued the citation for failure to maintain lane. That's based upon what we reviewed on our end, Your Honor. And I just wanted to put that on the record, just if there's any appeal purposes.
That's fine. If y'all want to appeal my decision, I'm okay with it. But at this time, the court finds that the irregularities are overwhelming, and I'm going to suppress the fields and anything that came from any tests that were conducted. All right. So, Ms. Daniel, I've granted your motion to suppress. Your failure to maintain lane will remain, and we can determine what you wish to do with your case. It'll be put on a trial calendar. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, that is it. Let me rock these super chats out real quick. Sparkle Poots for $5. Thank you so much. All together now, bless Colin's heart, because this makes him nuts. It does make me nuts. I get really frustrated when this happens, guys. Tonight was bad. Generally, it takes about a minute or two for it to come back. Tonight it was about 6 or 7 minutes, and I lost 150 viewers during that time. It's not okay. It's not okay, and it doesn't seem like there's anything I can do about it, which is the most frustrating part. That's a different discussion, though. JP Jazz, Legal Fiction wants to know if you are back yet. Yes, I'm back. Don't worry, Legal Fiction, I'm back. Thank you so much. Lisette, Colin, we always will be here for you. Thank you so much, Lisette. I appreciate it. Mary Smith, we know what happens. One day it won't, and then, one day it won't. One day it won't. Hopefully it's tomorrow. Cheshire Cat, in bad pain tonight, and I'm headed to bed. Good night. Cheshire, I'm sure that you are no longer here. I hope you feel better. Get some rest, recover. Whatever's going on with you, please recover. You are a highlight in the chat, so come back, please. All right. You know what? I'm just gonna call it a night, guys. I'm frustrated, and I went off on somebody in the chat, and I don't usually do that. So I'm just gonna call it a night. We are rating Katie Z tonight. It is Wednesday night, the Booze and Body Cam with Katie Z and KFAR. Last week we rated KFAR, so tonight we're gonna rate Katie Z. I will be on Katie Z's channel this Sunday. She invited me on to go over some court procedure with her, so we're gonna have fun this Sunday. That's about it, though. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you again for all the patience. Biggin, second, thank you for the raid. You guys are awesome. All right, I'm headed out. I'm headed out. Tell Katie that I said hi, and until next time, bye.
All right, next, Williams.